here's a little solve I've got to start, Tom, because, again,
Good.
there may be an I in Rich and Eisen. There's an I in Verducci, but we're team players. We're trying to figure this thing out. Doesn't baseball have already agreed with the players and vice versa on a schedule where it would be or at least what it would look like that they could forward so we could all discuss that while they're doing this under that cover in the same way I'm assuming the NHL is doing with its players right now, potentially, that they've come up with, here's what it will look like when we return, wherever that may be, whenever that may be. But we're talking about that and saying, hey, hockey's trying. They might be having similar conversations with their players now about safety protocols and things like that. So I guess two-pronged. Doesn't baseball have something like that to come out and say, hey, while we're figuring this out, here, baseball fans, is what it would look like. How cool will this be when the Yankees take on the Red Sox 19 million times because they're in close proximity with each other? You know what I mean? Like, isn't there something like that's in a top drawer for them to bust out?
Yeah, it's a good idea. I think the problem is that schedule is probably not something that they feel completely wedded to at this point. I mean, they do have the framework of a schedule. 82 games, from what I understand, they'll play 2 home-and-home series against teams in their division and 1 home-and-home series against the like division of the other league, the interleague game. So that really reduces travel, which I think is a great idea. I love the idea that it really reinforces the value of winning your division in a short season, 82 games. You're playing most of your games within your division. So if you finish first place, that's awesome. You've earned it. And the postseason will be different. You'll get 7 teams in each league instead of 5. The first round, you'll have wild card series, 3 games all in one ballpark, best out of 3, and instead of the 1-game knockout. So those things are in place. I just don't think they've locked down the schedule enough to say, here it is, public. Here's what you can look forward to. But I do think it's a good idea, Rich, that anything they can give fans about hope of a baseball season and what it looks like, that has to be a good thing rather than, these updates on negotiations, which on a daily basis are not good. I mean, I haven't heard anything positive coming out of these talks on a daily basis.
I mean, my spirits perked up even hearing you describe that, Tom. I'll be honest with you. I'm like, okay, so that sounds good. So that would be the American League and the National League East face one another, and likewise Central and West, right? And then and then we'll just have to deal with the Toronto of it all in the American League and National League East about going from Canada to America, which I imagine is going to be something of an issue to deal with. But I mean, that's a bridge to cross.
Yeah, no, that is an issue right now. That there is obviously no crossing the border. So my solution would be that they train at their spring training site in Dunedin, Florida, and the Blue Jays play their home games at Tropicana Field. I mean, you can do that. You can share the ballpark. They'll be playing the Rays a lot anyway. So there might be 1 or 2 places where the ballparks would have to be, played in a neutral or shared situation. But I think the idea of playing, essentially reinforcing your regional rivalries, is a really cool idea. And maybe there's something in that going forward as well.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.